Q&A, answering your questions. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sheila. Well, in today's video, I'm answering your questions. In a video I did on February the 16th, I asked you all if you had any questions that you'd like to ask me to leave them in the comments section. I'd be happy to answer them. And I did get a few. I think I have 6 questions. So I'm going to answer those today. Before I get started, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. We have fun here. It's a kind of a variety channel. I do fashion, skincare, makeup, beauty, lifestyle, just kind of anything. So anyhow, hit that bell for all future notifications. Give me a like if you like it. It helps my channel. And leave me a comment. Well, I'm going to get on with the questions. And the first one comes from Bella from the channel Beauty on a Budget. Bella is a true beauty. She is a lovely girl. If you don't know Bella and you've never been to her channel, I will have it listed below, or any channels that I talk about, I'll have listed below. Please pay them a visit. You won't be sorry. These are some great women. So Bella's question is, have you lived in another state, or have you been where you are your whole life? Well, Bella, I've lived in a lot of states. I've moved around quite a bit. I was born in West Virginia and lived there till I was 12. Then we moved to Pennsylvania. I lived there till I was 18. I got married. We moved to New Bern, North Carolina. And then we moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina, then Orlando, Florida, also Merritt Island, Florida, Alexandria, Virginia, and then Richmond, Virginia, where I stayed for 30-some years. And 7 years ago, we moved here to the Low Country in South Carolina, right at Hilton Head Island. So yes, I've moved around a lot. My favorite place of all is right here in South Carolina. I love it. I love the weather. I love the cost of living is fantastic. I love being right at the beach. I just love it. All right, the second question comes from Face and Fashion. That her name is Sheila, like mine, and her channel is Face and Fashion. And she is a lovely girl. She does unboxings of all kinds. She's the sweetest lady. So you definitely want to check her channel out. And her question was, how did you and your hubby meet? And share some pictures if you have any. Well, Sheila, I'll have to dig through a box, but if I can find some pictures, I'll put them up here. Well, we met at a place of employment. Dave was working for a company as a technician. It was called Copy Systems, and they sold big copiers and fax machines for businesses and things like that. Well, at the time, I had absolutely nothing. And I had rented a small house for me and my 3 children, and I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent. So I had to find something. So I applied to an ad in the paper as a receptionist, and I got the job, and it was at this Copy Systems. So we met there. He was very, very shy, not my type at all. Very quiet, very shy. But eventually, he asked me to play tennis. Well, I've never held a tennis racket in my life, and he played it all through high school and everything. So we went and played tennis. Didn't last probably 10 minutes, and we sat on the tennis court and talked for hours and hours and hours. Well, to make a long story short, 2.5 months later, we were married. And that was, well, it'll be 39 years ago in July. So that's how we met, and that's how quick we got married. The next question comes from Marion, from Life Unboxed. Marion, what a pretty lady. She is beautiful inside and out. Her channel is all about unboxings also. And other things. She does other things too. Well, Marion wanted to know if I do my own editing and what program do I use for my editing software. Well, Marion, no, I don't do my own editing. Dave, my husband, does the editing. I've never even looked at editing. I wouldn't know what to do. And he started off doing it, and he loves it. He enjoys doing it, and he's good at it, and I know nothing about it. So he does the editing, and he uses Wondershare Filmora. That's a free editing software. So I'm sure it's not the best because it's free, but it works fine, and he really enjoys doing it. My next question comes from a subscriber, very, very sweet lady, and her name is Elaine. Thank you for your question, Elaine. Elaine wants to know, what do you and your hubby do for fun? Well, we haven't had a lot of fun in the last 3 years. We couldn't go anywhere because we brought my mother here from Pennsylvania, and we were her full-time caregivers. And there's no family here, so we had no help or nobody to relieve us. So we could never leave or go anywhere because, you know, we had to be with her every day, with my mom. And we had fun with her. Her and Dave would play cards every night. And of course we ate our meals together, and we took her on little day trips or shopping trips and things like that. So we had some fun with her for sure. Individually, Dave loves to ride his motorcycle. About 1.5 years ago, he bought a 1983. So it's kind of old, but it's in great shape and it's beautiful. It's a Harley Davidson Roadster. He absolutely loves it. He only rides it here in our community, not out on the highways or anything. But he loves the freedom that he feels when he's riding it. He loves that time to himself. He loves the wind blowing on him. It's just such a joy and a pleasure in his life. So he loves that. He also loves to play tennis, and I've played tennis with him a few times, but I'm no good. He's really good. As far as me for fun, well, of course, I love doing YouTube. That's a lot of fun. I just love being outside. As long as I'm outside, I'm having fun because I'm enjoying it so much. I love to ride my bike. I love to ride around in a golf cart. I love to dance through my house during the day and listen to music. And Dave and I dance at home too. And as far as together, prior to my mother coming here, when we lived in Virginia, we had bought a camper. It was a park model on the Tappahannock River in Virginia. And we had a pontoon boat. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun on that boat. We both thoroughly enjoyed it. Dave loved to fish, and I just loved being outside and on the water. You can crank your music up as loud as you want it to be. And oh, it's just so freeing. So we had so many fun times and great memories. It was like a resort camp area, so we went to the dances and parties there, and It was a golf cart kind of place. We rode around in a golf cart. We truly enjoyed it. And we dance a lot too. Dave doesn't like dancing as much as I do, but he dances with me and we always have fun dancing. We like to take day trips and we love going to the beach. Now, like I said, those are things we haven't been able to do, but now we will. My mother's in a nursing home, so we have a time where we can take a day or two to do something. And one of our most favorite things to do is to fix something to eat, something casual for dinner like nachos or something, get in bed and watch a Hallmark movie eating our dinner. We love that. And that's like date night, is watching a Hallmark movie together, and we both love them. And my next question comes from Diane. Hi, Diane. I just love Diane. She's one of my subscribers, and I feel I have such a connection with her. And she asked this question. She said that she knows that I seem happy and joyful and positive, and she wondered if that came from my faith or what. And so her question was, were you raised to have a strong faith, or is it something that came about later in life? Well, I have two answers for that, Diane. Yes, I was raised in a very strict faith. I was raised Roman Catholic. Now, this goes back 70 years. I'll be 70 in May. So back then, it was probably completely different than the Catholic religion is today. Back then, the masses were all in Latin and everything. Well, we had to go to church every single morning, confession every Sunday, and of course, church on Sunday also. And then the priest, Father Phillips, would come to my grandmother's house, my dad's mother, and have Sunday dinner with all of us. And we all would go and just hang out there for the day, have a big meal after church, and just hang out. And so I was around that, all my life. And we were raised very strict. The Catholic religion back then, at least for me and my family, it could have been different for somebody else, but we had to follow all the rules. There were a lot of rituals. You didn't really know God. I mean, I didn't. With the masses being in Latin, I couldn't learn from the sermons. And then there were so many rituals like, not eating meat on Friday and going to confession. And you did not talk to God. We feared God. And you couldn't talk to him about anything. You must go through the priest. So that's when you went to confession and you would tell God what you did wrong, what your sins were, things like that. The priest was the intercessor. He would go to God on your behalf, but you did not directly talk to Almighty God. In our church, we didn't hear much about Jesus at all. We heard a lot about the Blessed Virgin Mary. That was really big, but not Jesus. So it was totally different than what I know now. And we were raised, I guess, to be nuns, to hopefully have the calling. The boys to be altar boys and hopefully become a priest. And we went to Catholic schools and everything, and the girls to have the calling to become a nun. So I was to be Sister Ida Marie. Well, I didn't become Sister Ida Marie. When I was around 50 years old, I went to a non-denominational church because I wasn't getting anything out of the Catholic Church that I attended. And that changed everything for me. When I went to this non-denominational church, it opened up a whole new world to me. I learned so much about God, about Jesus, about faith, about the Bible, about the scriptures. I learned that I had a direct connection to God. I could talk to him anytime about anything, that he was always with me. I no longer feared God. I just, it was just indescribable to really come to know God and to know Jesus. It was absolutely wonderful. And from that point on, my faith just exploded. And it's made a huge difference in my life. Now, I don't want to negate my childhood. I appreciate what my dad and his family did and how they believed and how I was raised. So I feel like my upbringing gave me that foundation, that very solid foundation. But I am so much more grateful today for knowing God, truly knowing him, and having such a close relationship with him. It's absolutely wonderful. It's my guiding light every day, my conscience, the Holy Spirit that fills me with wisdom every day and helps me to make decisions. Well, I could go on and on, so I'm sorry my answer was so long, but I felt like I had to give you a background of where I came from and where I am. And the last question I have came from Dave. Yeah, him. He said, "What do you like most about me?" Is he a trip or what? Well, I like everything about Dave. I gotta change that. I love everything about Dave. He is such a wonderful human being. He has enriched my life more than I could ever express to you. I love that he's the leader of our family, that he leads all of us. I love that I have a man that I can pray with, a man that will pray for me, and a man that will take my hands and pray with me. That means the world to me. I love how I've learned so much from him, and that we can talk about our faith and share and express our love of God to each other. That's very important to me. I love how he loves my children as if they were his own. They are his in his heart. When he married me and I had those 3 kids, and this goes back almost 39 years, he took them into his heart like they were his own, and he raised them that way. And he's close to the kids. He's very close to the grandchildren. They all just adore him. I love how he cares for me, really cares for me every single day. It's like he wakes up making sure that my day is the best it can be. He's always asking me, "Is there anything I can get you at the store? What would you like for dinner tonight?" Because he does all the cooking. If I cook, we would just have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And he's just there for me in every single way. He's just an amazing person. And I love him dearly. There's nothing lacking as far as I'm concerned. And he is my true partner in life that I can count on in every situation. He loves me like my mom loves me. and he loves my ma like I love my ma. And my children, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. So I better stop because I could go on, but I just can't help myself. He is truly the love of my life and such a man of character. And I'm so proud of him and to be his wife. Well, I probably went off on a tangent, but, it hits me that way sometimes. So I thank you all so much for your questions. This was a lot of fun. It gave me the opportunity to share more with you so that you know more about me. And hopefully you learned something. And I would love to do more Q&A. So if you ever have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. And maybe once a month, I'll do a Q&A. I'll be happy to answer anything that you want to ask. Well, now it's time for me to leave you with an inside beauty tip. I think for my inside beauty tip today, I want to talk about journeys. We're all on a journey, and we have been since the day we were born. And answering these questions made me look at the different journeys I've had in my life. My journey in faith, as I shared with you, and moving to different states, and meeting the people that I've met, and the joy and fun and pleasure that I've had throughout my life. I've had hard times, just like we all have, and it hasn't always been rosy. But the good thing is I learned from the difficult times, and I grew from those difficult times. So I can look back and appreciate the journey and what it's done for me. To find such a love in my life like I did when I met Dave. Wow. I had to go through a difficult divorce in order to get to the place where I met Dave. That was a journey, but look how wonderful it turned out. And like I said, I've lived in many places, but I'm the happiest I've ever been right here where I'm at. We all go through things in our life and take different journeys, and it's important where we've been, but it's even more important where we end up. I truly believe that if you follow your path and take the journey wherever it leads you, you can't go wrong. You will be blessed, you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll appreciate, and you'll have a full life. Never be afraid of a journey or an adventure of any kind. You never know what God has waiting for you. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.